What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Greetings, everybody, and a very happy Sacred Sunday, a very happy Easter, a very happy Passover. What a powerful time on the planet this is. So welcome to everybody who's in our Zoom room. Welcome to all of you watching live on Facebook or on YouTube or on the Conscious Awakening Network. And also welcome to any of you who are watching the replay. I know that about 30 or 40% of the people now watch our replays. So whenever you're tuning in, may the spirit of this resurrection time, for those in the Christian tradition, of course, we honor the beautiful story of Yeshua, Jesus. For those of you that have different spiritual teachings, it is springtime here in the Northern Hemisphere, and it is for all of us a time of resurrection, a time of renewal. From an astrological standpoint, Pluto just went from Capricorn, old authoritarian, into Aquarius, communal, group consciousness. It's a powerful time on the planet. And we have an amazing show today. I'm really proud of all the people you're going to get to hear from. We have Christy Michaels and Jan Jorgensen. They're the people putting on this huge event tonight at Unity of Marin. They're already there setting it all up. And they are great teachers. For 13 years, they've been doing the Mary Magdalene Easter Sunrise Center. And speaking of Mary Magdalene, we have Elizabeth Kelly, who may be the world's foremost authority on the history and the mystical understanding of who Mary Magdalene was. And we're going to actually have a chance to talk to Mary Magdalene, because we've got Renee and Anthony, who are incredible channels, who are going to bring both Yeshua and or Mary Magdalene into with us. And then to round it out, we have an amazing presenter. You saw her briefly, and everybody said, we want to know more about this amazing woman, Phyllis Douglas, also known as Vox Angelis, who channels an entire language of love and sacred sound. So we're going to talk with Vox and hear from her. And as always, my beloved brother, my co-pilot, Omashar, is with us. So it's a powerful show that we've got today. Strap on your seatbelts. It's going to be a slightly longer show today. We're going to go probably a good couple of hours because we have so much to share. Now, for those of you watching on Facebook, that's great. I'm glad you're there. But I want to invite you to come join the Global Peace Tribe. Come on into our Zoom room where we can interact more easily, where we put a lot of important links. It's the place to be. And it's easy to register. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com, globalpeacetribe.com. You'll learn all about who we are and what we do. And click where it says register for the new season. That takes you to our registration page. We do 3 or 4 shows every week, all live, amazing, inspirational. For example, on Wednesday night, we had a beautiful show all about the embodiment of Gaia with an incredible woman, Raquel Spring. Last night's show was remarkable. We had 7 of the top presenters from the New Living Expo with us. And you definitely want to go back and watch the recording of that show if you missed it. And especially towards the end, Danny Sheehan, who's doing remarkable work. He is the lawyer who has gone, he's been doing the work for 40 years, starting with Daniel Ellsberg and now working with the government in getting them to release what's really going on with UFOs. And in between, all sorts of remarkable people like John Gray and Kimberly Meredith. It was a remarkable show. And then here's today's show, which you just saw the people who are going to join us. So join the Global Peace Tribe, come on into our Zoom room, interact directly with us. And when you register, you'll going to get the links to all of our shows for the next 3 months. Plus you get a replay, which gives you an opportunity to catch any of the shows that you missed. So please join us. I'm excited. I'm really excited about who we've got with us. And I'm going to open with Elizabeth Kelly. She is someone that we have tremendous respect for, and she's going to lead us in an opening meditation. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Scott. And I just want to acknowledge that Easter, as we know, is a time to celebrate renewal, rebirth, new beginnings. And for many of us, we've had a difficult winter. I mean, personal and collectively. But here in California, we endured tremendous amounts of rain, snow, cold, but the rest of the country, wow, had tornadoes. And that it was an extremely destructive, energetic, and if we watch the news, we are constantly bombarded with injustices. So there's a lot in the atmosphere that has challenged our psyche, has produced frustration and agitation. But here in this moment, we are celebrating Easter. It's an absolutely beautiful day. The sun is shining. And I want to take a moment for all of us to take a breath, to center ourselves, to sit comfortably in your seat. You can close your eyes and take a deep breath. Here in this moment with this beautiful music playing, and draw a long, slow breath up your spine to the top of your head and hold for a few moments. And then gradually exhale the breath back down the spine. Repeat this breathing for a few more times as you come more fully into this moment. And I pray to the higher self of everyone on this call that we are all able to rise above our fears, our self-doubt, our frustrations, or whatever may be holding us back from achieving our true soul purpose. May it be released now. Take another deep breath. And I pray that we may be guided, loved, protected, and inspired by the higher forces as we move forward with a renewal, and new beginnings. May this be a joyous time to fill and follow our soul calling. And may we say yes to new adventures, to new experiences. And let us take a moment also to check in with ourselves and sense what new beginnings we want to create. It's a good time to open to the new ways of thinking, possibly new ways of dressing, or reaching out for new friendships. Whatever your soul is calling you forward to do, let us take a moment and really anchor in to what is calling us. And may we go forward into this next season, the season of spring, more light, more joy in the air, with a greater sense of love in our hearts and renewal in our beings. Aho.
Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember. Last time, sing along. Why have we come to earth? Do you remember? Why have we taken birth? Why have we come to love, serve and remember? To love, serve and remember. To love, serve and remember.
Hey, everybody, let's go to gallery view and twinkle both Omashar and also that beautiful opening meditation from Elizabeth Kelly. Welcome,
Yes.
everybody.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
So many of our friends here today. Happy Easter. What a beautiful way to share with all of you. I love that song, Omashar, and thank you for the wonderful ways you help us to remember the reasons that we're here.
My pleasure.
Thank you. And we'll have more Omashar later in the show. Well, speaking of serving, I am going to introduce Christy Michaels. You have seen her on the show many times, those of you that are regulars. And she is putting on the big event. Tonight is the 13th annual Easter Moonrise event. Christy, I don't know Jan, so I'm going to let you introduce Jan and then share with us for the next 10 minutes. And then we'll go to Elizabeth Kelly.
Thank you so much, Scott. I am so delighted to be here with my dear friend, Jan Jorgensen, who is a sound healer extraordinaire, a queen of the caravan route. She's canvassing all through the world in the United States, bringing her gifts of helping people to become the light that we are. And Omashar, thank you for that perfect song, because that is what today is. Today is about remembering who we are, that we are the divine, but we've had the divine masculine right up here, and now we need to bring the divine feminine up so that then we can truly be one, because without acknowledging the divine feminine, we don't have true oneness. It's off, it's not balanced, it's not harmonious. So that is what the purpose of the Magdalene Moonrise service is. The Easter is normally celebrated as a sunrise service, right? But the moon reflects the sun, so it's receiving, so it's the feminine. So we have a moonrise service, and we have like over 40 priestesses and priests coming that are going to lead high sacred ceremony. And Elizabeth Kelly's going to be there. Renee and Anthony are going to be there, so you can get personal messages from Magdalene for you yourself if you can come to the actual facility where we are now, right now at Unity in Marin, in the beautiful prayer meditation room. And then we're going to have the art from the beautiful artist Sue Ellen Parkinson, who has painted the paintings that would be considered heretical because she's telling the stories that were suppressed about Magdalene as a sovereign priestess, about Magdalene as a teacher in the south of France, about Magdalene and Jesus being lovers and being connected as in the heteros gamos, in the sacred union that they were. And so we are so excited. It is like my greatest joy to do this event. So, and I'm going to have Jan talk about why she's coming to bring the light in. So Jan, tell them what you're going to do.
So we do have 40 people coming with dancing and singing. And our intention has been for 13 years. We've done this together for 13 years. And we're opening it up with people get ready. The train is coming. And Christy and I have been talking. Tonight is different. The train is here. And the train is, will we say yes to embody the vibration of source and be it, and not just for once a year gathering or to study or to give it lift service. So we're going to take a little moment this evening and make a collective intention to receive and embody the vibration of the divine feminine profoundly. That's why I'm here.
Yes, we have been in high ceremony, all of us, for over 13 years. So what happens is, because there's so much love between us, there's a connection, a field gets created.
Yes.
And having people like Renee and Anthony bring their energy to the sanctuary, these people hold high consciousness all the time. Elizabeth holds high consciousness all the time. So you get to step into such an extraordinary field, which is supposed to be heaven on earth, right? Not heaven in the heavens. We're supposed to be embodying it. And today on this call, you should hopefully hear Renee and Anthony give you a message of Magdalene's resurrection message. They are live and real, working behind the veil. They're trying to appeal to us. They're waiting for who's open-minded enough to receive their message. And so come and join us if you can. We will be live streaming. And I also have to say, this is a declaration. We have been in the time of Jesus, and came into our world of illusion, as the outer world, to help bring us in, to help us to go. He said the Father that does the work is within. The gurus have all said you have to go within. And the process of the feminine is going within. And Mary Magdalene was the one who successfully allowed herself to go within. So you see, we have the two different colors on, because what happened was, I noticed in my scholarly work that as Mary Magdalene had achieved her ability to experience herself as whole, she knew she was one with God, and it wasn't an intellectual knowing.
For some reason, you guys just,
You got muted.
I don't know how you muted, but you need to unmute.
So sorry.
The feminine won't be muted anymore. That's
Exactly. The patriarchy was trying to stop you and they just can't.
I'd like to share something. What tonight is about, it's a changing of the guard, because the women are saying it's time, and our will is igniting this shift, this pendulum change. And try this on for size. We should read it together. Thy queendom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yay!
So this is a new time and a new way. So with the rise of the divine feminine, which is so important to create the healing that is needed, and even the healing for the sacred masculine, which we will have many sacred masculine people there in service to the goddess. So you will be able to have your hearts opened and touched. You can come, there'll be altars where you can go and get blessings. There'll be over 30 healers in the sanctuary that will give hands-on healing to people. And we have extraordinary dances, including Elizabeth Kelly is doing this wonderful dance. But the message is really that the time now is for us to become one, which includes the divine feminine. And so thank you, Scott, so much for letting us come and be a part of this. And we look forward to Renee and Anthony joining us, and all of you who can join us. You're going to let everybody know how to find the information on my website. So
And
It's
yeah, and I'm going to go there briefly right now. Again, it's the website that I put into the chat box. For those of you watching on Facebook, it's gospelofmarymagdalene.info. gospelofmarymagdalene.info. And I want to remind everybody that you can live stream this. Of course, a few of you are in the Bay Area. A few of you will be able to go to it live. It's in Novato, in just north of San Francisco. But most of you, of course, can watch this live stream. So go to gospelofmarymagdalene.info, and that's where you can RSVP, and this is where all the information is. And there's a lot on this website too, including the astrology video from Karen LaPuma, who's a world-class astrologer. I've known her forever. We are going to transition into learning more about Mary Magdalene. And next Sunday, our entire show is dedicated to the rise of the divine feminine. Eden Amadora will be back with us. Christy will be back with us, and two other new guests, including a woman in France who leads tours of the Mary Magdalene work. So we're going to really continue that next Sunday. But for right now, we're going to hear from Elizabeth, who has been studying, and I have such respect for your work as both a scholar and also understanding the mystical side of it. So Please share a little bit more with us, Elizabeth.
All right. I thought I would share, it's from a paper I wrote that actually got published in 1993, and it was titled Mary Magdalene, Priestess of the Resurrection. And it got a lot of attention in Europe, but not so much here. But it takes us back, as we know, that in the Christian world, we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus. But this tradition did not just happen, or happen in a vacuum. Jesus was not the first God King to resurrect. It was a pattern that took place all throughout the Mediterranean world. In early Middle Eastern history, women traditionally played the important role as initiators in the cycles of birth, death, and transformation. In Sumeria, Babylonia, Canaan, and Egypt, prior to and also during the rise of the patriarchal religions, a long lineage of goddess traditions were based upon women as priestesses, guiding their consorts or spouses through the death process, followed by a journey into the underworld. And then the priestess escorted their men back into life and wholeness. In the death and resurrection rites of the pre-Christian religions found throughout the Mediterranean world, beginning from approximately 3000 BC and continuing through the centuries leading up to the time of Jesus, a goddess always accompanied a god. In Egypt, Osiris is attended by Isis. In Greece and Rome, Adonis was escorted by Venus, Aphrodite. In Babylon, it was Tammuz, who was escorted by Ishtar, or another name, Inanna. Baal by Astarte, and Attis by Cybele. So there was this long history, this long pattern of god kings that died, descend into the underworld, escorted by a priestess, and is able to come back and return, be renewed, and be a fully embodied king for the people. In the biblical accounts of Jesus, his death, burial, and resurrection, we find a remarkable similar pattern with Mary Magdalene acting as priestess. She was the one who stayed with Jesus through his death, while the male apostles ran and hid in fear of their lives. And it was she who was the first person Jesus appeared to. Instead of being honored, Mary Magdalene was labeled a whore, a sinful woman, a prostitute, and discarded, and the extreme relevance of that has been ignored. But in the Russian Orthodox tradition, and it was amazing, I spent time in a Russian Orthodox monastery shortly after I had this calling to serve Mary Magdalene. And I arrived just as this book on Mary Magdalene was printed, and it happened to be Russian Orthodox Easter, which falls on a little different calendar. It might be 2 weeks after the time we celebrate Easter. But in the Russian Orthodox tradition, Magdalene is celebrated rather than nudged into the shadows. After the risen Lord appeared to Mary, he instructs her to go and tell the other disciples that he is risen. She does that and runs off. But when she speaks to the other apostles, they do not believe her. So she takes an egg. This woman is walking by with a basket. This is the story that they tell. A woman's walking by with a basket. She takes an egg. She picks it up and turns it red in her hand and said, Christ has risen. He has truly risen. And so on Easter, in the Russian Orthodox tradition, you probably have seen many of these red eggs, that they approach each other and offer red eggs, exclaiming, Christ is risen. Indeed, he has truly risen. And there are other significant parallels between Magdalene and figures in the early gospel tradition. For example, and I'll only use one for time, it was Osiris was killed and dismembered by his jealous brother Seth. Isis recovers his scattered parts, and in a very dramatic ritual, she breathes new life and resurrects her beloved spouse. The death and restoration to life of Osiris was not only a powerful symbol for the Egyptians, but for the entire Hellenistic world, which dates from around 300 BC to 300 AD, and was definitely celebrated and practiced during the time of Jesus. So at the beginning of the Christian era, this mystery cult of Isis and Osiris was widely influential in both Greek and Roman thought. So on this Easter Sunday morning, let us remember Mary Magdalene in her significant role as priestess of the resurrection. Let us also take a deeper look at our lives and, take a moment to let go what useless baggage we might be carrying, like old pains, old bad habits, old ways of seeing and feeling. And let us have the courage, like Mary Magdalene, one of her great examples for us is courage. Let us have the courage to begin anew. Life is short, and soon our time to depart is going to be up. So let's use our time wisely and to the fullest. May we take a moment and realize all the good that we can do. It can be very simple acts. Simple as kind, encouraging words, or offering a helping hand to a friend who is passing through a dark time. May we find the light of Easter in our hearts. And when we find it, let's be generous and offer it to others. May the spirit and light of this beautiful Easter morning bless us all, watch over and protect us on our journey of spiritual transformation, from the darkness into loving, radiant light. Let us be joyful and happy as the consciousness of the risen Christ rises and shines within us as we guide our way home to our fulfillment in the awakening world. Thank you, Scott.
That's so beautiful, Elizabeth. Thank you for the combination of that history. I didn't know a lot of those things, including about the red eggs. I didn't know that.
Yeah, if you have Russian Orthodox friends, you'll see they'll be passing red eggs. There's red eggs in their houses. They bake breads with red eggs in them. Yeah, it's a long-standing tradition. And they're all on, as I said, I had this opportunity. I mean, it's quite a huge story, which of course I won't tell now. How I ended up in this Russian Orthodox monastery. It's something I would never have expected would have happened to me. But they have a crypt underneath the church where they keep their monks that have passed. And I swear there was hundreds of red eggs in this crypt on top of the different coffins. They still keep the coffins of their departed monks underneath the church. So yes, it's a very long-standing tradition, and there's lots of icons. I've had many of them, and maybe sometime I'll give a slideshow and you can see all the images of Mary Magdalene that's been painted, and the old icons that are painted with her holding a red egg.
Absolutely. I would love to. I'll even try and track down some of those during the show. I'm going to read a couple comments and then we'll let you go. I loved what Reverend Jeffrey said, that the resurrection can also be seen as the death of the belief that we are separated from God or from source, for death to the illusion of separation. So I think that that's a very beautiful way of looking at it.
Very beautiful.
Yeah, and for all of us, let's all think about what are we resurrecting in our life? We each have our own unique journey of life, and so some of us, it may be time to resurrect a dream that we've had, a longing that we've had, or resurrect a connection to spirit in a particular way. But this is a powerful time for us to really get in touch with, okay, what am I going to bring into this new season? Spring for those of us in the Northern Hemisphere. And I want to recognize we have, I know at least one person in the Southern Hemisphere, Torina in Ecuador, is with us. So
Can I want to say one thing about, I'm going to be leaving this gathering soon, so I can get ready. I have to go to the church and I'm doing a rehearsal, but what Cara Luna and I are resurrecting is a 3rd century Gnostic text that we put music to. Cara Luna is an opera singer, so she is singing the lyrics of a very potent text called "The Thunder Perfect Mind." And it speaks in what's the word, bringing together the dualities. I am the first, I am the last, I am the whore, I am the holy one. I am she who has mothered many sons, and I am the barren one. And it goes on and on and on like that. It's a very long text. You can read it yourself. It's called "The Thunder Perfect Mind."
fantastic. Yeah. And give my love to Cara Luna.
Yeah.
Because she's special. And yeah, it's as we leave this world of right and wrong, good and bad, and we collapse the polarizations and recognize that all of us experience, and we're all divine emanations of the eternal beloved. And may we remember that and see the divinity in all, regardless of our history or regardless when we're looking at another of how they might be different, because it all lives inside of us. Everything lives inside of us.
So I think it's quite profound that in the 3rd century, they were into non-dual thinking.
Right. Well,
Well,
we should do a whole show about the Gnostic scriptures, really, pulling out the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, the Gospel of Thomas. For anybody who doesn't know, the Gospel of Thomas is just quotes from Jesus. And so it's not telling a story that's been changed and, written. It's just quotes from Jesus. So we should do a whole show on the Gnostic books sometime.
No, it's a big world, and it was recently printed in English. I mean, in I think 1979, it was discovered in 1945. But these are works that were written in the 2nd and the 3rd century, and Christianity, if we had access to them, would have a very different look. And Mary Magdalene would long be celebrated, and now she's having her resurgence and her renewal and rebirth. So that's what we're doing tonight. The celebration of the moonrise service, celebrating the feminine.
Well, and remember, everybody, you can watch it live. You can go to, it's being live streamed. Of course, if you can go there in person, that's ideal. I know we've got a lot of Bay Area people, but for those of you outside of the Bay Area, you can watch it live. Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing this precious time with us. I have such respect for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we're going to go from one extraordinary soul to another. I'm so grateful that Phyllis and Douglas, also known as Vox Angelus, is with us. And welcome and happy sacred time to you, my friend.
Hello. Can you hear me okay? This volume, I turned it down, I think.
Actually, you sound a little soft,
Oh, okay, I'll turn it up. There we go.
There we go. We want to have the complete experience. So what is this time of year mean to you? Tell us a little bit about your personal relationship to this particular time.
Well, it's interesting because I have always had a relationship with Yeshua or Jesus. And it was early on in my life, he always referred to himself as Jesus. And then as I was going through my own spiritual things, he referred to himself as the Christed one. And so lately he's been coming forward as the Christed one because it's really about, he just said something to me and I wrote it down so I would remember, but he's saying that the resurrection is recognition and acknowledgement of your holy form.
Mm.
And that really struck me because it's kind of what I will be talking about today. But I was always guided by the angels who have been with me since I was a little girl, that and the way that I was seeing Jesus, biblically speaking, from my little Bible, starting back, right, was this image of, and I was kind of told to be separate of that. But sometime later, I was in a meditation and I finally understood something that was really important, because Jesus appeared in this meditation and was speaking with me. And I realized that I was looking at him more and feeling towards him more and idolizing him. And the angel said, no, do not do that. They said, look at his feet. And so then I could only see his feet. They were bare, dirty feet in sandals. And I didn't really understand this. And then I did, because they were saying he's not to be idolized in that way. He is you and you are him. Everybody is that, carries that Christed light. Everyone is capable of what Jesus was capable of. And they wanted me to recognize that Jesus is and was a man who was simply connected and recognized and fully acknowledged his holy form. So within that, he performed magic, really. And so from that point on, it was a different journey for me, because I received kind of a liberation from the old thought forms and could create something different from a higher understanding. And so, excuse me, he's been coming to me as of late, because we knew this was happening. So today, I'll be embodying the consciousness of Yeshua and Mary Magdalene to bring forward an alchemical sound transmission, opening an access point to the Christed being of light within that we all are. And receiving evolutionarily assists this process of activation, conscious soul alignment, and empowerment to one's greater purpose and purification. And essentially, the resurrection from the old into the new way of being where we sit within a higher space of recognition and acknowledgement that of our holy form, and that we are infinite source having a physical experience, and that we are the creators of our life.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So I know we're doing this in 2 parts, and I'm not sure I can time myself.
Don't worry about the timing.
Maybe
You're
like
good.
wave a hand or something.
Yeah, I mean, but what we're about to experience is very powerful. If you haven't experienced it before, so get ready to just really receive this as a transmission, because that's what it is. And take it away.
Oh, I see. Hold on just a second. It's telling me. All right, just a moment here.
Do you have your original sound on?
Yeah, my I just have to reset this. My audio engine. This is going to sound really strange, but there's so much energy, and I have so much energy in my space here. The audio engine just went off, and I've got to.
I quickly muted you, Phyllis. You need to unmute again. There was a huge buzz came through.
While she works on that, this might be a good moment for me to just give her a moment to kind of prepare, and just give me a thumbs up box when you're ready, and I can certainly cover. I want to read some of the comments that are coming in. First of all, Susan just said that we are loving this, and there are so many different ways of experiencing divinity. But one thing that I wanted to riff on that I heard her say when she's talking about the name of Jesus, and that he came to her as the Christed one. Please remember that his name was not Jesus Christ. His name was Jesus of Nazareth, and actually it was Yeshua. But he attained Christ consciousness. He was Christed. And each and every one of us at any time in our life can be Christed, can attain Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is it's an experience, it's a level of evolution, if you will, that he attained. And we can have moments of feeling Christed. And some of us are really, really lucky. Perhaps Omashar, he's one of the more evolved beings that I know, can live in the state of Christed consciousness at a very high level, very consistently. The twin ray, I think, are 2 people, or 2 beings that are living in a very Christed state. So it's important to remember that, that he was here to model what is possible for all of us. Looks like Phyllis is getting it together. I'm seeing her face getting increasingly less worried and increasingly happier. Just unmute, Phyllis, when you're ready. And I'm going to read a couple more comments. Reverend Jeffrey writes, "Lovolution is the solution." He has to leave. He's going to go celebrate. But thank you so much, Reverend Jeffrey, for all that you provide. And I think she's ready.
I am. I'm so sorry about that.
Things happen.
All right, dear ones. I just need a moment to bring them in.
sunna mandre gialmando troye ande sireram andare tureram andare tureram shungeria 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 ture siriam maror maror andare siriaria ore andare siriaria ore siria ore siria ore siria mare siria odo miriandirio Chipediadurum Mariasud Carebayunum Haerisu Dorium. We are complete.
Mm. Mm. What's it like being you? What's it like when you're having that experience?
Today was very, very intense. It's since I've honored and really acknowledged and fully stepped into my gift, it's been very intense.
Mm.
And beautiful, because there's a higher frequency that's coming in that I am somehow translating to sound, and I can translate to words when there's words, but there's so much more within what they call the language of God's light. And a lot of people speak of light language and so forth. But this is what they call, for lack of a better term, a higher tier of connection
Mm.
with the consciousness of Elohim. And so when we think of words, a single tone can be an epic adventure versus stating like a single word.
Mm.
And so what it does when it comes through me, it's very healing and transmuting and transforming, but it's also presented and transmitted and emanated as a gift to the world when
Mm.
you're doing that within a state of purity and allowing that to flow through.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to have more of Vox towards the end of the show. I'm going to read one comment, and then we're going to do a little light touch, and then get to the main part of the show, Renee and Anthony. But Jennifer writes, absolutely gorgeous and riveting. Thank you for sharing your beautiful gifts with us, Phyllis. Dia writes, aho, as profound as I have ever experienced. I am transformed, transmuted. Namaste. Renee and Anthony write, stunning, what a voice, tingles the entire time. So thank you so much. And you'll be back in a little while. You know, as we've been talking about, there's so many wonderful ways to connect to spirit. In a few moments, we're going to have a quality time with Renee and Anthony. But I also want to acknowledge light touch. Of course, I talk about light touch a lot on this show. Shay Mayer is with us. I see Shay right now is with us. And, light touch is a wonderful way for us to remember the beauty of our body, and to honor our body, to honor each other. I see Jay's got his feather going. And so light touch is a wonderful thing. And Jay has created all sorts of wonderful videos for us over the years. I played the first part of a video last night, and now I'm going to play the second part, and it's honoring some of our spiritual teachers. And then we're going to hear from Renee and Anthony.
People ask me, Sadhguru, how do you operate with all these people? All kinds of horrible questions they're asking, they're doing this, they're doing that. I said, my life is not about them, it's about me. It's about how I am. It's about me. It doesn't matter how they are, that's their choice. But how I am is my choice. This is my way. No matter what they do, I'm like this. Because I have not given that freedom to anybody, that somebody can freak me, somebody can make me angry, somebody can make me happy, somebody can make me unhappy. These privileges I kept to myself.
पे चल के देता जो ये संदेश प्रेम के रंग सब रंगे सबका है एक खिवैया भीड़ में हो या रहे अकेला आनंद में रमता जो नंदती 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 देवा नंदती 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 देवा नंदती 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 देवा नंदती 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 देवा।
Thank you, Jay Mayer, for that beautiful video. And remember to do light touch as we're blessing each other, as we're blessing ourselves, as we're doing our prayers. You can do it with yourself, you can do it with a partner. It's a beautiful thing. We'll be doing a lot more light touch as we move into this spring. All right, it is time for the main course of today's show, and that is, of course, Renee and Anthony. And how cool that on Easter Sunday we get to talk to Yeshua and Mary, and in a certain wonderful way. I also want to say I've had a good chance to get to know Renee and Anthony a little bit more personally. I've actually been in their home a few times. They are beautiful, delightful, wonderful people who walk the talk. And so welcome back to the awakening world. It's good to see both of you. And for those who aren't familiar with you, will you be willing to just share a little bit about your history to introduce new viewers to the magic and the wonder of your lives?
Yeah. Scott, first of all, thank you for having us.
Yeah, we love your show, and we're always so honored and delighted to be here.
Oh, it's great. Thank you. Thank you.
So let's just share a little bit about what we do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Both Renee and I, we are channelers. Actually, the energy will come through me, but it does come through Renee first as the divine feminine, and it will come into me. And the main entities or beings that we channel are Yeshua of Nazareth and Miriam of Magdala. Those are the two prime beings that come through and speak as they will this today as well.
Yeah, but only you'll notice because Anthony's a full embodied channel, his auric field and his energy field, if you like, is the only one physically altered. So you're going to notice that today. And I act as really more of the grounding cord. So when stuff comes through me, it does come through me energetically, but more mentally. Whereas Anthony's like physically altered, and the transmissions that come through, it's not just verbal messages, but also that higher vibration of what Scott was referring to earlier, the Christ consciousness energy, which we can talk about more today, which will be very fitting for Easter, I think. So in our work we channel, and Scott put up some information about us there, where you can find out more about our work.
So speaking about for today, for Easter, what it is to be Christ consciousness. I think a lot of us are demonstrating that are here today. It is simply allowing ourselves to be one with the energy of who we truly are in this lifetime, and that is love.
Pure love.
And Christos energy is love. It is the energy of love. It is what we are. And the messages that come through Renee and myself, they're not complicated messages. They are messages, again, from 2,000 years ago plus, of what it is to be of the Christ consciousness.
Yeah. So and the other, I think, important thing to note here for those who are viewing, who are from different denominations or none at all, right? So it doesn't matter whether you, whether you were brought up Christian or Jewish or Hindu. I mean, it really doesn't matter. That Christ consciousness is simply a term that has the, as Scott put it, the divine love consciousness in all of us. So in the East, they might call it something else. There's the Shakti consciousness, right? There's all of these divine love consciousness. So it's all the same. It's of source energy. So that's maybe the best way to think about it, is that it's ignited of your true light, your true divine love, that the source light, the source energy is in all of us.
And I think a lot of times we are seeking, we'll often go outward looking for the answers. But in the end, it always comes within us. As Yeshua will always say, the temple is within inside of you.
The kingdom is within.
The kingdom, or the queendom, I like that too, is within. Balance the kingdom and balance the queendom together, and you come together as one. And that is where you find divine masculine, divine feminine, and they come together. And that's when we really become one with the universe itself.
Yeah, and perhaps today we can also spend a little time on the Gnostic teachings, because that was truly their teachings over 2,000 years ago. And as Elizabeth Kelly had pointed to earlier today, those Gnostic teachings, right, were in the pure essence echoing and amplifying that message that the divine love is within all of us, and looking inward and becoming inward, right? The I am who I am consciousness, becoming inward, is really the path to that inner temple, that inner love, that inner peace, that inner serenity.
I so appreciate all that you're sharing, and I'm kind of pop in here for a moment. I also want to just acknowledge that, there's the two of you as a couple doing life together, and then there's the two of you that, bring through this energy, just like we watched. Amazing how Vox brings through that energy, and it comes through sound, and together you bring through an energy which we experience as channeling. So whenever you're ready, would love to hear what either Yeshua or Mary Magdalene or whomever may come in. Please take it away.
Okay, I just want to acknowledge Vox Angelus. I love it because it's Latin, first of all. I would refer to her as more Voces Angelorum, which is the voices of angels.
Yeah,
when she sings.
Feels like
It was absolutely incredible. Again, thank you so much.
And so true what you say, Phyllis, and that it's a vibration that's coming through, right? And that vibration which activates people without even knowing, right? It shifts our energy and our consciousness in these beautiful, loving ways.
Let the resurrection be something that we can all try to imitate, in a sense that we allow these energies to come through us. The angelic energies, the Elohim energies, and whatever they are, let them come through us during this time, especially during Passover and during the Easter celebration, so that we can feel the divine feminine and divine masculine in Miriam of Magdala and of Yeshua as well. Okay, are you going to read something?
So I thought maybe even before we kick into channeling, I thought of reading something from the Gospel of Mary Magdalene. It's short, and there's various versions of it, and we have all of them. There's quite a few different versions, but this one is Leloup that I'm going to be reading from. And I think also just fitting for this season, right? And this is a dialogue with Yeshua, and it's from page 7, because those of you who are not familiar with the Gospel of Mary, some of the pages are missing. Pages 1 through 6, for example, are missing. So this kicks off page 7, 1 through 22. What is matter? Will it last forever? The teacher answered, all that is born, all that is created, all the elements of nature are interwoven and united with each other. All that is composed shall be decomposed. Everything returns to its roots. Matter returns to the origins of matter. Those who have ears, let them hear. Peter said to him, since you have become the interpreter of the elements and the events of the world, tell us, what is the sin of the world? The teacher answered, there is no sin. It is you who makes sin exist. When you act according to the habits of your corrupted nature, this is where sin lies. This is why the good has come into your midst. It acts together with the elements of your nature so as to reunite it with its roots. So just beautiful. Yes, the world is so full of parables as a way to teach. Never direct, always indirect, suggesting and implying to go inward for those answers.
And with that, we are going to slowly bring in these energies of the Christ consciousness, and there'll be Yeshua, and perhaps Magdalene also will be here. So,
You better be.
everyone just close
She won't be happy not to be represented today.
close your eyes and focus on your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Become one with your breath. Breath is spirit. It is the life force of who we are in this lifetime. With each inhalation, breathe in Christ consciousness. With each inhalation, breathe in Yeshua. With each breath, breathe in Magdalene. Know that you too are one with us. You are one eternal, one spirit divine, one light of source, one light of universal consciousness, one light of God, one light of goddess. You are many things, but you are one with all. Continue to breathe. See yourselves as beautiful white light beings. See yourselves in a beautiful circle, holding hands, becoming one again with Source. Allow your heart to open to the all that you are in this lifetime, and do not be afraid. There is no fear here. There is only love. Love is the glue that connects the universe together. And you and we are the glue of all things.
Imagine that we are all connected as one source energy. There is no separation. We are the all that is, and we are the grain of sand. We are all interconnected in this beautiful divine play. And there's only love here.
I am. I am who I am. It is an honor and privilege to be with you, Gaia. I am Yeshua Bar Maria. I am Yeshua Bar Maria. What does that mean? That I am of Maria. Bar Joseph. I am of Joseph as well. But these are not the messages that I give to you today. The message of love of oneself, love of others, no matter what your perception of them may be, always be of love. Know thyself, know thy universe, know thy God, know thy goddess. Balance within yourself the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and do not be afraid. This is your incarnation. Make it a beautiful one. Be happy, be of love, and be of joy. Share all of these gifts of humanness with others as you set light touch. Touch one another. Be kind to each other. And it shall come back to you again tenfold. I am the soul that once was called Yeshua from a very small town. But I am a soul that will work directly with all of you as well. I am the consciousness of Christ as well. But you too all have it. We all do. I am only here to remind you of that and nothing else. Remember who you are. Peace be with you all, eternally.
So Scott, we could take some questions, for Yeshua, if you'd like to throw some questions out, and then we can bring the Magdalene through afterwards. They'll probably shift in and out.
Okay. All right. Can you maybe just always let us know, you, Renee, let us know who's, coming through at a particular time. That'll help make it easier for us watching. And certainly the first question is just what would you like to share with us about this particular moment in history? What about this moment in history should we know, or do you want to share?
You have made of me something more than I actually was. I was a man having an experience of Christ consciousness, and I allowed it to become me. I was here to show you of what it is to be of God, to be of source, to be of you. And that was my message. But you have made me something that I was not. I was not God, but I was experiencing God in me. My message to all of you is this. It has always been here. Your paradise is here. Your experience of who you are is here now, in the present moment. It has not changed. You are all God. You are all universal consciousness. You are all of light. You are of the angelic realms if you choose to be. You can be whatever you choose in this lifetime. You can manifest whatever it is that you desire simply with your thoughts and your words and your touch. Be of love, especially during these times. Let this be your apocalypse, your unraveling of who you truly are in this lifetime. There is no difference between me and you. We are the same, always, eternally. And I say that to all of you, to all of the viewers. You have access to me. You have access to the universe if you so desire it. My peace I give to all of you. Spread that message and let that be your resurrection, your mantra for this time on earth.
There's a question from Jennifer asking about Mary and Joseph, if they were the biological parents, and anything to kind of share about that and how it's maybe a little bit different from the doctrine we were raised with.
Yes, I can give you some answers on that. When I came through, I said, I am Yeshua or Yeshua bar Maria, Yeshua bar Joseph, which means I am Jesus of Mary and Jesus of Joseph, as you translate it that way. Now, you wish to have answers, as you call them, the truth. And I know what you want. You want to know if he was my biological father. I often say, what does it matter? But I will say, no, he was not. But I had brothers and sisters the same. What's most important is that they, Joseph and Maria, were my parents. And they were father and mother to me. And that is enough. It does not matter who your parents are. Remember that you are always together with light source energy, and that you are always together one with all. We are your parents. We are all one together. I understand the question. I understand that you have questions, and I will try to answer them for you all during this time.
The other thing I just want to add here is those of you who are familiar with timelines, right, know that when channelers tap into particular energy for information, they're tapping also into a particular timeline. So the timeline that we work off, which we are just finishing up a book that's fully channeled book with Yeshua and Magdalene, and the information that's coming through from them is for this timeline. So sometimes you might have heard, that they spend time in Turkey or, other countries. That doesn't necessarily ring true for the timeline that we're channeling, but it doesn't mean that it's not true. Right? It just means that they're tapping into another timeline.
So truth is relative,
right,
to the individual having the experience at any given moment. But I will give you the truth of what I can express during this particular timeline, as you call it. It's a bit difficult. It's very quantum in nature.
And that's one of the reasons why, by the way, we do a lot with science. And that's kind of, I don't want to say unique for us, but it is more unique, I would say, with channelers to bring in the science. And that's really important to us from our background in technology, science. Anthony's a bilingual speech pathologist by day. And so having those roots in science is very important to both of us, and that keeps us very grounded as well. So I just want to add that because that's a very integral part of our teachings and our work.
In truth, if you wish to speak a little bit about science of who you truly are, you are, as we said, and I said, the glue that connects the universe.
The subatomic particles.
The subatomic particles. You are space and time together. We are all space time together. That is who we are, all of us together. And we can manifest ourselves as human beings or in any type of vibration that you desire to have an experience. Remember, we are multi-dimensional beings, all of us, having multi-dimensional experiences simultaneously. However, the message still will be of love, because no matter what you perceive of yourself, you are nevertheless of love. And that is all.
Yeah, and that's why I think the important message of all the great masters, Yeshua included, is to be in the present moment, because when we're focused on the present moment and we bring that love into our daily lives here and now, it affects all the other timelines that we're in simultaneously.
That is true. Every thought and every word that you put out into the universe has a rippling, vibratory effect. Good thoughts, good deeds, good works. Remember that. Be of truth within yourself. Be of love, be of joy, and share those qualities with others.
I love that, Dia. God, the ultimate physicist, indeed.
Yes.
Well said.
We've got a question from Jay that I'd like to add. I think we all would be curious about. Jay writes, I wonder about all those years that are missing about Jesus's life and teachings in the Bible. I wonder what Jesus had to say about homosexuality, polyamory, in a different light than sin.
Love it, Jay. Great, great. Thanks for bringing that to the table.
Which should I speak of first?
And I think there's going to be some surprises for those who tend to come from more traditional circles when they read our book.
Let me speak of some of the things that you don't, or society says is wrong. Homosexuality, polyamorous, lesbianism, gender fluid, as you call it. Okay. It is a perception. That's all it is. All of these ideas are perceptions to keep you separated from who you truly are in this lifetime. Love is love. Plain and simple. Whether it is between two men or two women, it is still love.
Divine.
Divine, yes, Gaia, that is correct. Love divine.
When we remember that we are spirit first, we are energy beings, right? Those labels just
Disappear.
They disappear.
That is correct.
Yeah.
So my ideas and my truth, even thousands of years ago, was to bring women and men together, to show the unity of both of them together.
The masculine and the feminine, regardless of who you identify as in the physical shell, the physical body.
Now, the lost years, that is a tough one. That is not easy. You wish to know where I was during the lost years. What do I say to that? Let me say this. In this vibration,
This earth vibration, this timeline.
I traveled to learn, to become again. I studied many different cultures and languages, many different ways of being. That is what I'm trying to say to you. I know in your history books, it will say something different, but that too is okay. And I was a builder, not just of wood, but of brick as well. But that was the trade that I had learned. But I went away to study, to become something greater, which is not uncommon for many of you to do as you become older as well.
And it was common for learned people of the time to study elsewhere.
That is correct.
So India was part of that. That's what you're getting to. India was part of it. And this vibration in this timeline.
Yes. That is my truth at this particular time. I hope that answered your question.
Thank you. I want to read a question that came in from a little earlier from Dia. She said, Yeshua, when I asked Mother Mary about your incarnation at that time, she told me you had had many incarnations on earth before 2,000 years ago, so that you could learn all aspects of what it is to be human. Would you like to comment on this?
Yes, I can comment. As I had said before, you have the ability to incarnate simultaneously within one vibration. Did I incarnate before? Yes, of course, just as all of you have done, just as all of us are doing at this present moment.
This is the multidimensionality of who we are.
You are able to take your energy and put it into an experience, into another soul's experience, as I am doing right now through Renee and through Anthony. This is another incarnation of who I am. I am incarnating, that is becoming the perception of flesh through him and through her at this present moment. So yes, I did. I know what you're asking.
And since then also.
That is my truth I give to you at this moment in time. I will speak a bit about the resurrection, of what it meant and what it truly means. More from a scientific and quantum aspect. As I said before, your paradise in heaven is here. It's within you. I died physically. I did not rise. I did not ascend, and I did not descend. I simply stepped back out of this timeline, out of this vibration. And I stepped back in, and you could see me when I stepped back into this vibration. That was the resurrection. But that resurrection was to show all of you that you have the ability to go in and out of your own dimensions whenever you choose. To show all of you and demonstrate the power that you have within your heart if you so desire. That was my resurrection. And I came here to show you that. Everything was planned in a manner of speaking. The probabilities of dying on a cross was the greatest probability of all. And so I did. Pontius Pilatus was planned. Caiaphas, the great priest, was there as well. It was all there so that I could show you and demonstrate to you that I was human, having a Christ, God experience at that given moment. I spoke to you as I spoke 2,000 years ago in language that you could understand. Now I speak to you again 2,000 years later in language that you can perceive. It is the same. You and I are the same. We are of love, and that will never change.
So it was a way to demonstrate that we are all God. We all have God and Christ consciousness in us. And so we all have that ability, right?
That is true.
Just as many ancient sages and mages from the East have demonstrated, right? To be able to go in and out of dimensions and timelines. Our great indigenous shamans do the same thing, but in a different way, right? We use different language depending on tradition, but that's possible, right? To dance in between these dimensions.
Should I call Magdalene, Miriam?
Yeah, we can do that.
I will do so. For she was and shall always be the one true love of my life. For without her, my resurrection could not have taken place. She taught me a great deal, loved me beyond others, understood me like no other could, and was there with me to the very end and the beginning again. And with that, I will allow Magdala, Miriam, the tower, as you call her, and she is, to come through. Her energy is much different than mine.
Yeah, you'll notice a very, very different energy. So Charlotte, couldn't be more perfect for your question now about talking about the rise of the divine feminine and its importance in this time, at this time. So
Peace be with you.
she will address that.
1 second, please.
Okay. Now, ironically, what's interesting is you notice the Yeshua energy is very gentle, pure love, soft. It just like relaxes me, puts me to sleep, puts me in this, just the divine place. And Magdalene is like a bit more like Martin Luther King on steroids.
Yes, I'm here. Good to see you again, Renee. Gaia. A privilege to be here during this sacred time of Passover and of the resurrection of Jesus, and Easter, as you call it. Now, I am Miriam of Magdala, and I am what you refer to as the divine feminine. And yes, I will say to all of you that the feminine is rising. It is ascending again. And I say again because it once was there before. Allow yourselves, and I say this to all of the males who are looking and observing this, allow yourself as a male to allow the feminine to rise in you, to become one. And you will see a difference in you that you've never seen before. You will see a courage that you have never felt before. You will feel a force that you have never felt before. All these things that you thought were impossible become possible. All of these doubts that you've had before are taken away when the divine feminine rises in you, because you allow yourself to become one again with Source, and you are Source. Do you understand?
It's the merging. Yeah, the merging.
I am with the divine feminine now. Gaia, as I refer to her, she is the earth. I am the heaven. She is the feminine. This one is the male, but I come through as female. He tries to resist, but it cannot happen. No more. Do not resist. Do not resist the resurrection of who you truly are in this lifetime. Let it flow. Let it ascend. Feel the vibrations.
And we find it quite interesting that in terms of the full embodiment, that Magdalene, rather than come through me in the full embodied way, right? She comes through my hands when I write. She comes through me with mental messages all the time. That this is a demonstration of coming through the male to the surrendering, right? The surrendering so that that balance can emerge in all of us, right? The masculine and the feminine coming together.
Surrender into it.
As one.
It is okay. Surrender doesn't mean that you've lost or that you've given up. It simply means that you have allowed yourself to open to something greater than yourself, or at least a perception of yourself. For you are the greatest being there is here at this time. Are there questions for me?
I'm sure.
Question. Again, I recognize that there are multiple timelines and different alternate realities and parallel universes. In the timeline that those of us watching this show are in with you, did Mary Magdalene and Yeshua have children? And what's the story of that lineage?
Should we wait for the book?
Could give them a glimpse.
Yes, I can.
But not everything.
I will tell you this.
We're too close to getting this book out.
Well, we'll definitely have to promote the book for sure when it's ready. Let me know.
Yeah.
In this particular timeline, and remember, timelines are like threads or hairs. They run very close together. That's how it is. Now, did we have children? We had one child that came manifest in this physical realm, and it was Sarah, and she was the daughter. Now, maybe in your history books, you will not record that, or it will be forgotten, but she was the daughter. She was born in Gaul, in France, as you call it. Well, yes, I gave birth there, but she wasn't conceived there. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and other channelers will come through with information that there was more than one child, but in this timeline, in this vibration, that's
Yes.
what is reported.
That is what I can recall coming into this vibration at this particular time. That is my truth I give to all of you. Are there more questions, Gaia?
And more in the book.
Yes, much more to come.
We definitely look forward to reading the book. You've spoken a little bit about the rise of the divine feminine. So I think we've kind of got that resolved. Let's see. Grace wanted to ask, or this is actually a comment from Grace, one source reaching out to us throughout time in time-appropriate ways with the eternal, unchanging message of unconditional love and forgiveness, understanding, and the triumph of the good. So that's more of a comment, and thank you, Grace. It's a beautiful comment. Dia has a question. Now, this was originally for Yeshua. I'm imagining that Mary can respond. Can you comment on the purity of the scholarly treatment by Reverend Potter written in his coverage of the lost years of Jesus?
So, Dia, can you clarify and expand upon that? Let's see what your question is.
We'll see what she writes. And Mary, I have a question for you while we wait for Dia's response. How is it for you to finally, after all these years of, for so long, you were perceived by most as a prostitute and you were denigrated, and now the truth is being revealed. How is that for you on a soul level?
Okay. On a soul level, There is no disdain. There is no hatred. There is only love. And I will say that to you again. There is only love. But being able and having the facility to come through beings such as Renee and Anthony gives me a great joy. And through all of you who wish to channel me as well, will give me a great joy as well. It makes me feel human again. And to be able to feel human and to be able to speak through Anthony's physical voice and to be able to write through Renee so that she can be my voice as well, it makes me feel wonderful. I feel woman again. I feel heard. I feel important again, and allow my message to come through all of you. So yes, that is how I feel. I feel
ignited.
Yes, ignited. It is a beautiful feeling to know that you are now listening, although you always have been listening. It is now during these times, during these types of shows, being able to be connected in so many different parts of the world simultaneously is the greatest message I can give to all of you. Continue to connect. Do not have fear. Nobody is coming after you. You can express yourselves exactly the way you want to now. That is my message. Wonderful.
To be able to empower other
women now.
Other women and those obviously who identify with feminine, right? To get that balance integrated again into society now, because it's not only needed in all of our respective industries, it's also needed for the planet, right? And that's a really important message for us to mention. We don't want to leave out Gaia, because
no, you don't want to leave out Gaia. Now, I will respond to that message concerning the individual that had posted something. I do not criticize anyone. Yeshua will never criticize anyone. Each person has his and her own truth. Now, is the message of love, will it affect others in a way that will bring their hearts opening? If that's how it works, if that is the path that you have, then let it be. Remember, we are beings of all different colors. Your path may not be the same as any other. Your opening will not be the same as any others. You choose how to open into your light self again. That is my message about the question that the individual had. Remember, is it true? Is it true to you? Does it feel true to you? Does it resonate in your heart? That is the most important thing. And do you give your heart to others and love? That is what is important.
You know, we get asked questions like that all the time. Is this true? Or do you resonate with this? Or how do you feel about this person's teachings? And whether we're aware of those teachings or not, we always go back, and this is, you know, with our community, right? We have 2 membership programs where we meet regularly, and people are always bringing up questions like this. And it always does go back, whether it's Yeshua or Magdalene speaking and addressing it, is the message of divine love. Does it raise your vibration? Does it expand your consciousness? Does it heal you? You know, these are really the pivotal questions to ask yourself. What's true for you?
That is true.
And so that's a good segue, because I want to go to both of your websites. I put them in the chat box, but for people watching on Facebook, they've got 2 beautiful websites that are both filled with a lot of the answers, a lot of the information you're looking for. This first one is studywithspirit.com, studywithspirit.com. And there's a lot of beautiful offerings there. There are 31 lessons on conversations with Yeshua. There's 15 lessons of Magdalene's sisters. 111 lessons on the energy body, the quantum field. I mean, there's so much channeling.
Let's just scroll back up because it's a little bit confusing because of the platform. They say lessons. Blue
Okay.
Soul Ignite and Magdalene Sisters, the first two boxes that were on the page that you showed, those are our two membership programs. So they're not so much lessons. Those are literally our live sessions. And then anyone who's a member can go back and listen and tune in to the recordings anytime. So the two top ones are those. And then there are pre-recorded courses on the energy body, on sacred geometry, channelings with Yeshua and Magdalene, Gnostic teachings, the soul, the multidimensional soul. That's a really great course, actually. But the two first ones, those are our live membership programs. And we meet twice a month. Magdalene Sisters is for women only. As it should be. Sorry, gentlemen. And that's for women only. And that's a sacred container where we all share. And then for part 2 of it, we do live channeling and we answer questions just like this. So that's what those two are. Yeah. There's a lot.
There's a lot. And then here's I guess this is your main website, Blue Soul Earth. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Everybody, make sure you put in your information and subscribe because there's a lot of wonderful offerings that I know that you're going to want to get. So what would you like for me to point out on bluesoulearth.com, bluesoulearth.com? Should I to show people on this website?
So under membership programs and offering, we just mentioned Magdalene Sisters over to the left. That's our membership program, and Blue Soul Ignite over to the right. Those are our membership program. And in the middle, this is a fun thing that we launched about 6 months ago. It's called Blue Soul Summit. And if you go to bluesoulsummit.com, it's not a typical summit in the sense that, you know how traditional summits have these interviews with other people and then they're gone 3 days later, right? So ours are up and available for at least a month, sometimes more, for each season. We are currently on season 5, which just went live about a week ago. And we've got some amazing visionaries that we talk to who are bridging science and spirituality and health and wellness. So we have people like Dr. Shamini Jain, right, who is all about, she's a psychologist who focuses on the biofield. We've got Neil Donald Walsh, right, Conversations with God. We've got philosophers. We've got Dr. Roland McCready, head of research for Heart Math. We've got, I mean, just the list goes on. We just did Marianne Williamson interview. It's not live yet, but that's out there. We've got a Simcha Jacobovici, I never get his name correct, 3-time Emmy Award winner who has worked with James Cameron on Avatar. Yeah, amazing. And he's a documentarian who's also an archaeologist. And anyway, super amazing interview. That's in season 1. So we have, just some amazing people. We have other channelers like Paul Selig and Matt Kahn, who's known as the I Love You guy. We love Matt. And he's
the sweetest. He is.
Oh my gosh, absolutely every one of you should watch the interview that Anthony and I did with Matt Kahn, because there's a moment where, do you remember Anthony was saying, oh my God, I'm getting like my whole body is just vibrating. And Matt's like, I'm vibrating too, because the energy with all of us, just coming through. And there was no channeling. We weren't channeling because the interview was with Matt, but it's a beautiful interview and so many others. So, and then I should also add, because we're starting to move those, many of those interviews over to our podcast. So we'd love to actually start letting people know about that now, because finally it's together, and that's called Blue Soul Chats, and that's always free. Anchor.fm/Blue Soul Chats. And so these are interviews, audio, and they will always be free. So definitely subscribe to that, because we have some amazing interviews coming through. And then I know I'm so excited about all this stuff. And then episodes 1 through 85 are all of our channelings on the podcast. And then starting with episode 86, it's interviews with leading luminaries. I know, I'm so excited.
Well done, Gaia.
I just get excited about our podcast. So
wow. That's
Yeah.
incredible what you've got going on. That's really exciting. Very, very exciting.
So tons of fun things to tap into. And if you want to hang out, there it is. Yep. If you want to hang out
Here's the blue
regularly,
Look at all these episodes. You've already got 87 episodes.
yeah, we
It's amazing.
do. We already have 87 episodes. We just haven't promoted it yet because a lot of the early stuff was only kind of early day channelings, and anything you can imagine is on there, from our chakra system to the biofield to quantum physics. We have quantum physics. We've got Dr. Jude Curvin and Dr. Amit Gazwani, and yeah, we even
got so many of the wonderful, wonderful presenters. That's awesome.
That's
Thank
all.
you both for the amazing work you've done. Thank you so much. And I always love being with you. And I look forward to seeing you next week at the New Living Expo.
We will be at New Living Expo. We will also be at the Easter ceremony tonight in Marin, right, with Christy and Elizabeth. So we'll be there live doing some channeling. And yes, at New Living Expo, we'll be speaking Friday night at 8 p.m.
Beautiful.
So,
I will see you at the expo. We're already well past time, and we still have more of Vox. So stick around, everybody. We're gonna hear part 2 from Vox, and then we have a final Omashar song that's very special. So I love you two both so much. Thank you
we
so
love
much.
you too. Thanks for the opportunity.
Hey, Vox, thank you so much for hanging in there with what an amazing show. It's an embarrassment of riches with so many people offering so much wisdom in their own unique ways. Anything that stood out for you or that resonated with your experience in what you heard them say?
Well, what I was writing down is what I heard was that, okay, the merging of the masculine and feminine energies requires the relinquishment of the things not in alignment or in resonance with the pinnacle point of emergence now available to each and every one of you, allowing one's balanced and holy expression within the auspices of this timeline. Within your history, her story, there is now the reverse of caste and hierarchy into a balanced union that once was.
That was very clear and beautiful. Thank you.
That's good. And I'm getting a unmute thingy.
We're hearing you. You're unmuted.
Okay.
Thank God for our technology, and we appreciate how it works most of the time, and we acknowledge the moments that it gets a lot of energy flowing through. And I think there's so much energy flowing through you that may be part of what's happening here with some of the technology challenges.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna. Hold on.
While she is doing that, I will cover, because we usually do our Global Peace Tribe announcements. So I want to just let people know what's coming up on our next Awakening World, which will be Wednesday night, April 12th. We've got a really great group of guests. These are all people that are leading teachers and mentors from all around the world. Angel B will be coming to us from Bali. Shashi is coming to us from Tulum. Trish will be up in the Bay Area, Omashar in Colorado. Where will I be on Wednesday? I'll be here in Sedona. And Ray and Sahat, many of you met them at our retreat in Los Angeles. And they'll be coming to us from Atlanta. And we're going to be really talking about, what does it mean to be a lighthouse in the darkness? What does it require of us to, when there is so much dark energy and so much challenge, what does it require, and how can we really hold the light and to be the light that we seek in the world? They're all beautiful teachers, and it's going to be a very dynamic conversation. So that's going to be our next show on Wednesday night. How's it going there at Vox?
I am here.
Okay. Go back to Vox.
This has never happened before.
I love how special we are. I love to be special.
So this is about emerging the timeline, or the emergence of the masculine and the feminine. When she's kind of doing this, that's exactly what is happening. Medititre sonam matram eresitrui enot menesitre toreni mondra sirem mondra handreton eresitre soreno eresitre sonreno meresotri siriam handre siriam curetureno erasing historical references that are no longer in alignment with the emergence that is taking place. Placing your hands over your heart and the left hand over the right. Nono sure giri anana ere sure sire sure ingen andra sure oh because I'm not rocky I'm at struir satru I am terra gaia tu chere kera sena apora sura kuram at he si allowing these roots to anchor traspore era sura aperaku mire sura mandraki Nishukoira mira mondra sira ira makoyamatara sira. In this broadcast today, you have seeded a new way of being in the world. timelines that are in alignment with this moment in time. The seed has blossomed and is growing. New beginnings. The earth to the root. Root to sacral. Sacral to solar plexus. Solar plexus to heart. Heart to throat. Throat to third eye. Third eye to crown. Crown elevating upwards, like the branches of a tree into the cosmos, the higher realms, the multidimensionality, and the ancestral. Those who came before you, whose shoulders you stand upon. Bigetru, new. They welcomed the light, the love of creation. Here it comes. Anchoring into the earth, anchoring above and below. All that you are resides within your heart. Utros irematur. Utros erimatur. Utisepekerem. Tuachiamona. Gerbo, thank you for allowing us to come in today to this spiritual and sacred gathering. Thank you for allowing us to share at this pinnacle point in his story, her story, to bring all of us, all things together. Peace. We are complete.
Let's just take a moment. That was incredible. I don't know about the rest of you, but I'm literally, my world is spinning. Thank you again so much for taking us into such a realm. I can barely speak, so I'm going to thank you. I've put your website, it's her name, phyllisdouglas.com. And I'm going to turn it over to Omashar, and hopefully he can do a better job of communicating right now than I can.
There is no better job than you're doing, Scott. Your silence is the honoring of this moment. And this is our grounding. This is when we step off this platform, let's keep this in our heart as a pearl we've just been given by Renee and Anthony and Vox Angeles and the other presenters today. So let's keep it in here, not share it out. Let's keep it quiet. And here's a grounding song that you will all know. Here it is.
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, there will be an answer, let it be. For though they may be parted, there is still a chance that they will see. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. Night is cloudy, there is still a light that shines on me. Shine until tomorrow, let it be. I wake up to the sound of music, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. There will be an answer, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, yeah, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be.
That was perfect. That was an absolutely perfect choice. Thank you so much. What a show. What a weekend. Last night's show was incredible. Today's show is incredible.
So full. So let all this amazing high vibe frequency just infill our cells and just allow any dross to leave us. This is the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, may we continue on with connecting with each other. Of course, we've got wonderful shows coming up next week. I'm still having trouble talking. And again, tonight is the incredible show that we've heard so much about tonight. So you can go to the Gospel of Mary Magdalene .info to get information on it. I'll see many of you at the New Living Expo next weekend. And hopefully we'll see all of you on Wednesday night for the Next Awakening World. Thank you, Omashar, for all that you do. Thank you, Renee and Anthony, for blessing our world with your wisdom and your presence and all the courses, classes. I really appreciate how much you are creating in the world. Vox, thank you. You are a wonderful new member of our beautiful Global Peace Tribe. And I'm going to go to gallery view. For those of you, turn on your cameras, everybody. Say hello, say goodbye. Happy Sacred Sunday from Jasmine Bear and myself. We'll see you all next week. Take care, everybody.